Hi, I'm Amitabh Chandra. I'm a professor of business administration at Harvard Business School and a professor of social policy at the Kennedy School of Government. I'm moderating this panel, and the objective of this panel is to discuss the impacts of publicly funded biomedical research, and we'll spend some time on ways to better track, quantify, and document the NIH's investment in drugs that finally do come to market. In other words, I think sort of different than simply making a qualitative statement like the NIH plays a role. We'll spend a lot of time trying to understand the magnitude of that role and what that role might imply for bringing actual therapeutics to patients. I'll tell you a little bit about the speakers in a minute, but each speaker will have 15 minutes to speak, and there's a little trapdoor that'll open underneath them if they exceed their 15 minutes, because we really want to have something close to an hour for like a very rich Q&A with this very distinguished panel. We'll start with Dr. Janet Woodcock, who's the director of the Center for Drug Evaluation and Research at the FDA. And Dr. Woodcock, as you all know, has a unique vantage point on this industry and the NIH's connection to the industry, and she's going to share her thoughts with us. She will be followed by Dr. Bhavin Sampath, who is an associate professor at Columbia University and a research associate at the National Bureau of Economic Research, and he's going to talk to us about his research on the extent to which drugs have sort of the fingerprints of research that was financed by the NIH many years ago. And then we'll hear from Danielle Lee, who is an associate professor at MIT Sloan School of Management, and Danielle will share some of her recent work that's actually done with Bhavin in sort of kind of pushing this research question that Bhavin asked originally further with newer data and with a better sense of counterfactuals. And then finally, to kind of put all of this into perspective, we'll hear from Dr. Margaret Bloom-Kohut, who's an assistant professor at Gettysburg College. And Margaret will sort of talk about, not just what's the role of the NIH in affecting patents that go into drugs, but in actually affecting or influencing the drugs that come to market. And then, like I said, we've got lots of time for a very rich Q&A. And so with that, I'm going to hand the podium over to you, Dr. Woodcock.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming.